Welcome to this week's episode of Automotive Weekly. We decided to go back to some more Euro cars, and the best part? We've got two of them. So as you can see, we got a really cool episode for you guys. But first, we're gonna introduce you to the people that own these awesome cars. So go ahead and tell us who you are.
My name's Doug.
I'm Sarah.
And you guys recently moved here, right?
Yeah, about a month ago.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, welcome to our lovely city. So I kind of wanted to just talk to you guys a little bit real quick before we get fully started into exactly what's cool about these cars individually. So what got you into cars in the first place?
I've always been into cars. Ever since I was a kid, I would have a Corvette or something on my wall. I initially liked muscle cars. They looked good, they sounded good. But when I started driving, I realized there was more than going in a straight line, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool, well, how about you, Sarah?
Very similar. I've really enjoyed cars in general, mostly from a aesthetic perspective since I was a teenager, and that really just grew over time. I would do car photography just out of a general interest, and then when I met Doug when I was 19 and he was really interested in cars, that just helped me to really foster my interest and love with cars just that much more.
Absolutely, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about why these specific cars, because we'll talk a little bit more about the cool parts about these individual cars later, but tell us why you really got into these particular cars.
Yeah, for me, the Abarth was really out of a couple key interests I had. So part of it was the fact that it was half MSRP. We found it at a really great price from somebody selling it, I think in South or North Carolina. It was a manual, and I was really interested in being able to have the confidence in driving the Lotus, and I did not have that, not driving a manual every single day. I didn't feel very comfortable. So it was affordable, and it had the manual aspect, and then it's got a lot of character, and it pops and bursts out of the exhaust, and that to me was really fun, and this guy liked it. So that was kind of the mixed bag of reasons.
Absolutely. So Doug, tell us about the Lotus then.
This has actually been my dream car since I first saw it. It was back in 2005. I was standing on a street corner and there was a laser blue one that went around at probably double the speed limit. I knew I had to have one.
Well, enough just talking about these in the vague sense. Why don't we go ahead and just jump right in, and we're gonna start with Sarah's car.
This is my 2015 Abarth 500. To start, her name is Lil Berta. She needs a name because she has a big personality. She has 160 horsepower to start off with. We had a piggyback on the ECU to produce around 200 horsepower. She's got a lot of torque steer, and the rest of her is very base. There is not a lot extra inside of her. She is super unassuming, and considering we haven't done anything to the exhaust, everyone I talk to when they hear it start up or they hear me driving by talks about how loud my car is, and they're always really curious to know what type of exhaust I put on there, and it's completely stock.
This is my 2005 Lotus Elise. I've done a little bit of weight reduction to the car, so it's about 1,950 pounds. It's got about 200 horsepower, and 0 to 60 should be around 4.7 if you beat on it, which I'm not going to. I haven't done too much to it. I wanted to keep it reliable as a Lotus could be at least. So I just have an exhaust on it. I have an ECU tune, which lowers the cam changeover, and it has a set of coilovers as well, and that's about it. As far as finding the car, it took me quite a while. I was looking on the forums, on Craigslist, and I actually found it on Auto Trader. It was in Arkansas, in Little Rock. I had to fly out in the middle of February, and it was about 22 degrees. So driving it in the freezing rain, coming across multiple states was definitely an interesting experience. It was a great way to bond with it. The Elise is quirky because it's a wonderful toy, but it's a terrible car. My favorite part about owning the car is the way it makes you feel. It's not super expensive, but when you're driving it, you definitely feel like you're in a baby supercar.
One of my favorite things about owning the Abarth is that it's helped give me a ton of confidence with driving a manual. It's incredibly easy to drive, and considering it's a very cheap vehicle to run and replace parts on, I've had no concern about eating up my clutch or, potentially harming my car in any way as far as learning how to confidently drive a manual on a daily basis. I'm now ready to move on to some greater and better options and looking at potentially finding another daily driver.
Hold up a second. So you're telling me that you're selling the Abarth? But you got something else cool coming though, right? So that's all that matters. No worries there. So, well, regardless, guys, thank you so much for coming out and letting us take a look at your cool cars, even if you're selling the Abarth, that's okay. But thank you again for letting us check out the Lotus.
Of course.
We'll hopefully be having you back with your new car sometime in the future, but we're gonna wait till it's a lot cooler outside, so that's also very important. So if you haven't done so already, you can check out our Facebook and our Instagram, which is on screen and in the links in the description down below. Be sure to check out our giveaway, which is also on our Instagram page. It's in the description, as well as if you go back 2 weeks to our podcast video, all the rules are in there. And as you know, we have videos coming out every single week, every single Friday. And if you want to check out next week's video, just hit the subscribe button. We'll see you then.